Thank you so much for tuning into the throne room. Now, today we're going to go ahead and discuss Outlander. It's actually a great show. If you already have not seen it, you might want to go ahead and check out season one. We're actually into season two. It did start actually a couple of years ago. Did start 2014 on air, and then it's continued to do very well. So I think you should check it out. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and go over my review for Outlander. It's actually Outlander is a television adaptation that actually began filming in Scotland in the fall of 2013, and it did premiere on August 9th, 2014. Now, the first season has 16 episodes. Each is about an hour long and covers the first book in the series. Now, this also, like Game of Thrones, is based off of an actual book that someone wrote. Now, the first half of the season aired in summer 2014, August 9th through September 27th, while the remaining 8 episodes are aired spring 2015. 2015 starting The Reckoning. So at this time currently, let's go over it. Now, 1945 is actually where the synopsis and season started. And after serving as a combat nurse in France during the war, Claire Randall, she's the main character, travels to Scotland Highlands with her husband Frank so that they can make good after the years of being separated. They've had a lot of unshared experiences because she's been in the war, in war, being a nurse, and he's actually has a different type of profession that he leads. So the marriage feels like there's a burden of unshared experiences. But even though they actually feel that they're the same people when they're married, so they still love each other and want to make it work ultimately. So while Frank busies himself with the genealogical research, Claire pursues an interest in botany. Now, one morning before dawn, Frank takes Claire with him to observe the ritual performed by a local group of druids at a circle standing stones called Cree Na Dun. Now, if I said that wrong, sorry. So just to give you some information about the druids, they're Welsh, they're Old Irish. And actually, for this case, I'm going to go a little bit in depth on what the Druids are. They're 19th century base. Very little is known about the ancient Druids. They left no written accounts of themselves, and the only evidence that has been found of them is descriptions of Greek and Roman and various scattered authors and artists, as well as stories created by medieval writers. With little archaeological evidence that's been uncovered pertaining to the religious practices of the Iron Age people, not one single artifact of image has been unearthed that can undoubtedly be connected with the ancient Druids. So various reoccurring themes emerge in a number of Greco-Roman accounts of the Druids, but people really don't know. They just know that there's some animal sacrifices, human sacrifice, and reincarnation beliefs as well. So getting back to the Outlander review. Now, in this case, he shows her about the Druids, shows her where they actually did some of their ceremonies. And now, while looking around the circle afterwards, Claire spots a plant that interests her, but she and Frank make a hasty escape when one of the women returns to sit, because that's actually they're doing for ceremony, and they kind of see them, performing the ceremony. They're a local group of druids that still do it secretly. But she and Frank make a hasty escape when one of the women returns to sit. So later the day, Claire decides to return to the circle alone to take a specimen of the plant. While there, a strange feeling overcomes her when she touches one of the stones and she loses consciousness. Now, when she awakens, Claire discovers that the car is missing, and soon she hears noises of what seems to be a man engaged in battle. So she's like, what the hell is going on here? She runs through the woods until stumbling into a man that looks remarkably like Frank, her husband, but she realizes that this man's eyes are cold and unfeeling, nothing like her husband's. And the man, who she thought was her husband, introduces himself as Jonathan Randall, Esquire, captain of His Majesty 8th Dragoons, the name of an ancestor that Frank had been researching. Now, Claire tries to run away, but the captain pursues her. He even tries to rape her, actually, a little bit. But before he could do whatever harm he wanted to intend on her, another man knocks him out and forcibly takes Claire with him. Now, the man takes her to a cottage where many more men stand talking in a strange language, and she's like, what the hell's going on? Because nothing looks the same. She just woke up and she doesn't know where the hell she is. So the young man is in question is injured, and just a few moments later, She notices that he dislocated his shoulder, but she does put his shoulder back in place. Now they're kind of thrown back because she like knows stuff that in this time people just don't know about. So Claire puts a stop to it, and once she shows him how properly that she's able to mend the joint, they're like, wow, this lady's like off the chain. She can do some stuff that I've never ever seen. So as the party prepares to leave the cottage, Claire notices that she can't see the lights of the Inverness. Though Jamie insists that they're looking straight at it, because she's like, where's the city lights at? What's going on? Where are they? Because she really was like in a frantic chase with the guy Randall that she thought was her husband, but now it isn't, and starts to sink into her that she's no longer in the 20th century. So if you'd like to go ahead and check out Outlander and get a little bit more of my review, then you can check the next episode series. In this episode you can listen to a little bit more. Right now I'm going to stop it here. Again, Outlander actually is on Starz. You can check it out on Amazon, through Google Play if you have an Android phone. And I thank you so much for tuning in to the Throne Room. We'll be back in a few moments to give you our part 2 of Outlander season 1, episode 1 of how this all started with Outlander. And it's basically a Back to the Future type situation, but it's kind of good. And if you are the type of person that loves, Game of Thrones, then you'll love this show. I will guarantee it. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be back in a few moments with some more updates on Outlander and giving you a full review of episode 1, season 1 of Outlander, which is available on Starz. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks for tuning into the Throne Room, and bend the knee and go ahead and subscribe.